In this webinar, I'm going to be showing you exactly on how to use correlation, how to use our correlation app to help you in your trading. You can actually get the pure essence of the larger players' moves in the market day in and day out. So let's get started. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Where is everybody from? Good to hear from you guys. There's so many people in here. They got 792 people here and counting. Yes, for those of you asking about webinars recording, this is recorded and it will be released within 48 hours. Just as a recap, all question and answers we will save until the end to cover them. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Navin. I am your mentor at urbanforex.com and senior trader at forexwatchers.com. So look at all these places. We got India, South Africa, Oregon, no sound, Australia, Philippines, Ghana, Dominican Republic. Let me see if we can find anyone. Indonesia, Philippines again, Uganda. Okay, good. We got a ton of people in here globally from all around the world. We have a lot of people expected to be in here, so expect this room to be packed. And those of you who cannot get in and are watching this recording, I'm extremely sorry about that. It's first come, first serve, obviously, right? So we have very, very important stuff to discuss today. We have a very important news to talk about. It is a special day. Today's topic is going to be on correlation. I'm going to teach you some of the tricks that I personally use in correlation and how these things can actually help you. But more importantly, the special announcement. Can you guys guess what it is? What is the special announcement? All right. Here we go. Da, 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 da. All right, we have just released our app for correlation and our strength numbers. You guys have been emailing us since 2017. It is finally released. It is in the App Store. So if you go onto your iTunes App Store and you search for FX Meter, you will see it. Let me show you guys the links. Here you go. It is now available, so you guys can pick it up, and you guys have the wonderful meter that we use in the elite community. You now have to see that. So here is the link. It is posted for you guys. Again, obviously most of you guys are on your desktops. You guys can't see or download it from there, but you can download it on your iPad and on your iPhone. So if you go into the App Store and just search from there, you will be able to find it. So fantastic news, right? Like, I know a ton of you guys have been waiting for this, and it's been a very, very highly requested app from you guys, and we have finally released it. So enjoy. I'm very excited to use it. I use it every day now, and it really helps me make a difference in the speed and accuracy and how I approach the markets day to day. Okay, so all right, let's get started. We have a lot of stuff. A lot of you guys are asking about Android. Android version is being built. It will take some time to release, so please stand by for that. For now, it is taking some time to process. So we wanted to release it first for iOS, and it is now out there. Okay? All right, so let's get started. Let's get started here. We want to discuss correlation today, and I want to show you basically how to use this in correlation. You guys want to see a preview of the app? You guys want me to open it up and show you? Okay, let me open it up. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. So here is the inside. Here is the inside. Okay, it's a very beautiful app, very nicely designed and everything. If I can click on some stuff to show you, there you go. Very crispy, very clean, and you have them in a bar format as well. You can see it based on your multiple time frames, daily or 4 hours, and you can even see it, the changes based on yesterday. Okay, you can see the changes based on yesterday. Along with that, if you move this to portrait mode, and boom, there you go, you will now in portrait mode have the ability to see it in a chart format. Okay, you'll have a nice chart format. You can obviously choose 4 hour or daily, and you will have access to see the current one, which is today. And today you can see here for daily. Today we are looking at Aussie -7, Swiss franc +5, pound +7, New Zealand -5 as the most important ones, right? the highly ones. Now, again, these are calculated based on in-house. Consider it like a mom and pop store. We do everything in-house. It is not generated by a robot or a factory. We have to look at the charts ourselves and develop these numbers. These are not automatically done, okay? Because the markets are not easily programmable. So you have to understand that. Okay, so that is your, yeah, sorry, that was the landscape mode. I mix my words sometimes for portrait and landscape, but there you have it. Okay, so let's get started here. Let's get started. Now, correlation. So what is correlation and why is it important? Why should we follow correlation? Okay, you guys must be wondering, this brown man comes every 2 weeks into a webinar and he tells me to do stuff. What is this guy talking about this time, right? So this correlation stuff, it's very powerful. For those of you who have not seen my correlation videos on YouTube, you guys can check them out. It's already on there. If not, basically what correlation is the relation of one currency to the next currency. Okay? One currency to the next currency. And I'm going to explain why is it so powerful and how it can be used for your benefit on a day-to-day basis. Okay? Now, and if you have any, regarding the app, if you have any questions, just email us at info@urbanforex.com. Our team is on standby. They'll be more than happy to assist you with any questions that you have. For now, let's get into correlations. Yeah, let's go straight into it. And we're going to spend the next 50 minutes going hardcore into correlation. All right? All right, here we go. So now you guys have probably heard of the terminology as the big boy is the way to go. Always follow the big boy. The trend is your friend. All of this stuff comes at you from the markets, which means as a smaller player with not a deep pockets, you know, we're not talking about $20-30 million per trade that each person is doing. So obviously we're not larger players. And since we're not larger players, it is important to know what the larger players are doing. This is very critical. Okay. So in trading, this is very important because if you want to have any sort of success with trading, the news might come out, but your and my opinion on what we think about the news or fundamentals has 0 to negative value in the market. What matters is what is done with that information by the larger players, and it is only then we can deal with it. Yes, guys, please don't spam. For those of you, I know Hakuna Matata, buddy, but please don't spam. Any of you guys who are copy and pasting a lot of the times, we will have to kick you out. I'm so sorry. It's not my decision. The moderators in here are very strict. So we want to keep it clean and keep it natural. Okay, here we go. So correlation. Now, when we look at correlation, we want to do the same thing. So suppose you're looking at this on the daily, right? You're looking at this on the daily charts. Okay, here we go. You're looking at this on the daily charts. Now, in this particular case, I'm going to go over to New Zealand because New Zealand was showing up on our charts, right? Okay. Do you remember on my screen when we had that? Let me open it up. Let me open it up right here so you can see it. Boom. Here we are. Okay. Okay, so if we look at today's strength meter, we can clearly see New Zealand is a -5, Aussie is a -7. Okay, this is something we're using ourselves in the elite community, right? So for us in the elite community, this is the style that we look at it as. Here we go. Okay, it looks like this. Okay, as it opens up, I will show you. So this is what we're looking at in the elite community. You can see as this chart looks wonderful, we have to develop an app before people got brain damage. So now we have the app, it is out, so you guys can use that. It's a lot more user-friendly, it's a lot more powerful. Okay, so even here we can see here the numbers are +7, Aussie is -7, and New Zealand is -5. So if we can see it on the app itself, we can see that as well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna discuss this -7 that we see, -5 that we see on New Zealand, and then we'll get into Aussie. And I'm going to explain why this is so important. So let's get into it. So how this works is, let's say I'm on a daily chart, right? I can go into looking at all the Aussie groups. Okay, so what I do, all the New Zealand groups. So what I do is I open up, if you're using TradingView, I open up this tab right here on the top right. I click on that, and then I click on this drop down next to it. In that drop down, I like to do create a new list, and then I make a list for each currency. So for example, if I do New Zealand, right? So if I click on New Zealand, I can see all my pairs that are with New Zealand that I have added to that list. This helps me streamline my focus when I'm looking at it currency by currency. So if I'm focusing on New Zealand and I come in here and I say, okay, Aussie, New Zealand, which way is the market headed? Can you guys tell me which way is this headed? Is this going up or is this going down as per the daily? Okay, which way? It looks confusing, right? Is it? I don't know if it's going up. I don't know if it's going down. It's very confusing, and maybe it's going sideways. All right, we'll come back to that. Let's take a look at Euro New Zealand. Can you see which way this is going? Okay, this one we can see is going up. What does that mean for New Zealand? If this chart is going up, it means Euro is going up and New Zealand is weak. So that's a weakness there. Let's take a look at Pound New Zealand. Same thing. If this chart is going up, that means Pound is strong, New Zealand is weak. That's the second one telling us New Zealand is weak. Okay. Obviously, today is a very simplistic way to read this because you can see it's all green candles, so you can't get it wrong whatsoever. But on a normal day when you can't read it so easily, yeah, you need a little bit more of an expert experience on how do we need to read this a little bit more professionally. The next one, New Zealand CAD, same thing. You can see this chart is going downwards, and here New Zealand is weak too. And then New Zealand Swiss franc, same thing. It's going downwards, means New Zealand is weak. And then New Zealand yen, same thing, downwards, New Zealand is weak. And finally, New Zealand USD, it's downwards, that means New Zealand is weak. Do you notice how many of the New Zealands that we come on? Now, we're doing this out of 7, okay? And 5 out of 7, or 6 out of 7 in this one is telling us that, hey, New Zealand is extremely weak. So what that actually means is normally when a person looks at their chart, they look at it like, well, that's my support resistance. Okay, let me widen it up a little bit so you can easily see it. Okay, and I'll make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so yeah, they look at it as that's my support and resistance, and I'm looking at this as a potential sell from support and resistance, etc., etc., etc. Now, what if you're looking at this on the 4 hours and you were in this area of the market? Okay, you were in this area of the market. Wouldn't it be nice to know that the world, okay, not just the larger time frame on this chart, but the entire world, okay, all the largest players around the world are dumping New Zealand. If they're dumping New Zealand and they're the smart money, then why would we in our right minds do any kind of buying in this? Does that make sense? Does that ring a bell to you guys? Why is the smart money who have trained for years, have millions of dollars in research and technology and analysts who are there crunching numbers day and night, if they're dumping New Zealand, why in the world are we buying? Okay? So that should already give you a heads up on, hey, if you focus on your correlations, at least you can reduce your losses. We haven't even gotten into how you can use it to make profit. All we're saying, this immediately, just knowing this information reduces losses. Okay, that's a big, big thing. Okay. See one of the comments saying, because New Zealand is a great country, that's why they're dumping it. or that's why someone's buying it. Okay, also. Okay, but you can see, so our job is to find out what the larger players are doing, because the larger players have access to information that is not easily available to the rest of us simpletons, right? So Having that said, we have a list of pairs that are going up and down on our currency meter, where every morning one of our team members, if you guys know Armo, he's the team leader at Forex Watchers. He comes in, and Urban Forex. He comes in every morning, he reads the market, looks at everything, and then he's like, okay, based on the reading that we get, based on based on the news events that have been released, based on the technical patterns that have been released, we have now come to a conclusion of what kind of strength is this one particularly pair known as. And then when we do all the pairs, we get the answer. Okay? All right. Now, let's take a look at this on a time frame like New Zealand Swiss franc. Okay. I've been keeping an eye on this since earlier today. Okay. I took a short sell on this earlier from this area here. Now, can you tell me who in their right minds is going to sell if they see this? Like, if I move my charts like that, isn't someone going to be like, Navin, if you tell me to sell that, I might have a heart attack. Okay, why would you sell that? It doesn't make any sense because it looks like buyers are so strong. Yes, but the world is still dumping it. But here's the thing. What about Swiss franc? What does Swiss franc has to say about all this? Is Swiss franc going to interfere with my trade? Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look. What does Swiss franc have to say about this? Okay, I'm going to open this up. I should just keep it open. Okay, so Swiss franc on this today is saying +5. Okay, that means it's saying it's strong. All right, so if that's saying it's strong, that means this chart needs to go this way. If New Zealand says it's weak, that means this chart needs to go this way. Okay, you're getting double information telling you it's for a sell. But now the question comes is, but how do I know when? How do I know when I should sell if this monster green candle is coming against me and everyone in my family is panicking? My dog is panicking, my neighbor is panicking, my landlord is panicking. There's a green candle. Why are you selling? This is not Bitcoin. You must buy, only buy. Okay, you don't sell cryptos. You only buy it. Right? So this is the whole thing that's coming up. So now you're looking at this and your main concern is, what do I do now? Because we are now approaching an area of support equals resistance, which means more people will try to buy. More people will try to buy because why not? Why not? The market's jumped up very, very hard. Why not do this buy? But what happened to these buyers? Candle by candle, candle by candle, candle by candle. This is supposed to be a buy. The buy comes in. Very nice. It does its job. What is this? No higher high. Okay. Well, a trend to be in active mode needs a higher high and a higher low. Okay, so if I put a line on top of this initial push and then my secondary push and I extract it, okay, this is a little technique I'm showing you guys from our Mastering Price Action course. This is the rubber band man, if you want to call it. This is your first initial push up. Imagine a person is running, okay? So if I put that dude over here and say, all right, dude, run as fast as you can. All right, and he's running. And the wind behind him, he's running as fast as he can this way, in case you don't understand my drawing. He's running as fast as he can that way. And while he's running, he takes a rest. He takes a rest for approximately 30%. Okay, he takes a rest for 30%. And that tells us, hey, he might still have some power in him. Then he runs again the second time. He starts making little higher highs again. Let's extract that out. But this time, his run is a lot smaller than his previous run. Not to mention, he was even unable to break his previous record of his furthest run that he did. Okay? So this is a rubber band man. Basically, there's a rubber band around his waist pulling him back. And he's trying to run as hard as he can while the rubber band keeps pulling him back. As he gets tired, that's when we determine when should we begin to prepare ourselves. As the market starts to turn around, slowing down, he's trying again for the buy. He makes it. Oh, Mr. Rubber Band Man is officially out of business. Okay, he's officially out of business. He tried to make a higher high. He did his final attempt, and his final attempt crashed so quickly, even though it was just as good as the second attempt. He crashed so quickly that there's problems now. The poor guy is out of the game. And this now starts to indicate, hey, looks like the sellers are back. Looks like now the sellers are back. Now, wait a minute. We understand how the buyers died out, right? We read the whole story of the buyers dying out. But we also have this information that somewhere up on the daily chart, we have this Illuminati basically selling the markets. They're selling New Zealand hardcore. They're dumping it. They're basically going to the bank saying, give me all the New Zealands, and they're burning it, basically. Okay? They're not doing that. Please don't take me literally. But they're basically getting rid of it. And we see this information ahead of time, and we're basically saying, well, I should not buy it. This is going to cause me problems. I just need to find a way. How do I get in? Okay? So what we're trying to do is find out at what point in all of this part is, can we get inside and actually benefit from the move on the way down? Okay, now here's the fine part. Here's the fine part. Now you must be saying, okay, Navin, you know what? I'll take you for your word, brown man. And let's say I understand what you're explaining about New Zealand Swiss franc, but it sounds so simplistic. How can it be so simplistic like that? Let me show you something. What if today, instead of being on New Zealand Swiss franc, you happen to start your day by scanning the charts and you're like, you know what? I like Aussie New Zealand because there's a very strong down push here. And according to this down push, I have a nice pullback coming in that is struggling. And Navin taught me when there's a struggle, that means my rubber band man must be dying. So I have to sell it. Okay? All right, I got to sell it here. Hey, why isn't my sell working? I got to sell it here. Hey, why isn't my sell working? I got to sell it here. Hey, why isn't my sell working? Well, what if someone has the opposite opinion? You know what? No. It's not a sell, you dingus. It's a buy. It's not a sell. Look at this. If you look at it correctly, this is a strong buyer right here. This is a strong buyer right here. And this is the pullbacks coming in with the inability to go down. This is clearly a buy. Hey, I'm doing a buy. Why isn't my buy working? I'm doing a buy. Why isn't my buy working? And now you have a lot of you guys are saying, yeah, because today Aussie is also weak. So if New Zealand is weak, this chart needs to go this way. But if Aussie is weak, the chart needs to go that way. If both currencies are weak and you want to make some money today with a nice move, with a nice directional move, you can immediately say, okay, from my list, I can get rid of Aussie New Zealand immediately and say, you know what? I don't even want to look at it. I will not even look at it. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's how you get a lot of ranges as well. That's how you get a lot of ranges as well, because it's basically two weaks against each other or two strongs against each other. So don't even try to attempt these because it's going to waste your time. And we don't like to waste our time, right? That's why we come to Urban Forex webinars, because we hate wasting time, right? Here we go. Okay, so now let's move on to another example. Okay, let's move on to another example and we'll get into how do you use the situation to understand if we can get a decent pullback to sort of get in at a pretty decent price and ride it as much as we can. Okay, so let's take a look at another example. So just like we said, Aussie is also weak. Let's take a look at that list again. Take a look at that list again. Let me open it up. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see what is on that list. Yeah, good. A lot of you guys are following along. Very good, very good. Lots of tails, and Aussie is also weak. Good. A lot of you guys were able to even answer that question. Very good. Okay, so let's take a look what else is important today. Let's line this up nicely. Okay. Yeah. See, an app that can line up stuff easily too. Even I couldn't do that in school. Okay, here we go. So we have the strongest one being pound here. All right. And then we have Swiss franc, and then the weakest one being Aussie. So there's Swiss franc is in that list as well as a +5. And then we have the other side of the spectrum as Aussie for the weakest one and New Zealand for the weakest one. Shall we look at pound and see what is pound talking about? Okay, what is pound all about? Okay. All right. Now, let's take one more thing here. Let me see if I can rotate it to landscape mode, not portrait. I am going to catch myself there correctly this time. And let me remove all of these colors, even though they're nice, and just put pound. And I'm going to go down to yesterday. Now, if you can see yesterday on my screen, pound was still very strong yesterday, right? Pound was still very strong. Now, if pound was still very strong yesterday, can you predict what's going to happen today in the news and stuff like that? You can't predict that. But wait a minute. If the larger players are going one directional for pound for the longest time, and the news release is about to come out, what do you think are the chances of the news release messing with you to go against you? Because a trend doesn't necessarily go in one direction and then turn around and go the other direction. Okay, most of the time a trend will go in one direction, turn around, chop a little bit, and then either roll over to go down or go higher. Okay, the question, I see one question that's a very interesting question. I'm going to answer it right now. Nick, you're saying 30 minutes or 3 hour time frame more suitable. 60 minutes or 3 hours. I like the 60 minutes myself, 60 and 15. As I am able to trade those time frames within a particular session. So if I'm sitting there to trade London, I can see nice little swings within London session. Okay, and then 4 hour and 1 hour is a little bit more stable because it takes this nice time and it goes for larger swings. So that one can also be quite nice. Okay, but I always want to have a update on the daily currency strength meters. Okay, so now let's take a look at this on the pounds. Let's start with euro pound. Okay, what do we have here on euro pound? The market's been going up and up and up, and then recently it's turned around and it went down. Interesting. But since this is an uptrend, according to all the rules in the entire world, it says if this is an uptrend, do not sell, only do buys. Correct? Okay. How can I get the confidence to think I can go for the sell and not be worried? Because this chart represents only these two currencies, but what I'm interested in is there a larger player? Is there someone even larger? Okay, that's what's interesting to us. Is there someone even larger? So Euro pound recently is telling us that, okay, as per the strength meter, pound is very, very strong, which means this chart needs to go this way. Okay, let's take a look at pound Aussie. Same thing, pound is very strong that way. Okay, same thing on pound CAD. Recently, pound is very, very strong. Let's take a look at pound Swiss franc. Pound is very strong, but look at that. Swiss franc and pound, look at the chart all the way down, and then pound is strong too. Should we trade this pair? Do you remember what Swiss franc was in the list? Swiss franc was also strong. Swiss franc was also strong. So this is a pair that we want to watch out from and be like, you know what? Ta-da! I'm going to hold off on this for a little bit. I don't want to be worrying about this. So I can mark this. I can mark all the other ones to trade, but pound Swiss franc, I'm going to leave it out. Let's take a look at pound yen. Okay, let's take a look at pound yen. And pound yen is also saying, well, recently we're making higher high, higher low sequences. Okay, so that one is also strong. Let's take a look at pound New Zealand. Okay, this is also nice. Pound is strong and New Zealand is weak. This is fantastic. Pound USD. Okay, pound is strong and USD is not interfering. This one is also pretty decent. It is going up and making higher highs. So this helps you in saying, hey, what if there's a sell here? Okay, does everyone see the sell? Resistance, 50%, 61.8%, all of that retracement that comes in, or people like to do those sells right there. If all of this thing is coming in and the sells are coming in hot, they're coming in hot, are you able to read those pairs? Are you able to, is the sound and everything okay? Okay, now the screen and the sound should be back and they should be okay. Okay, before I continue, is everything making sense so far? Do you understand the importance of this? It sounds so simple, but I can tell you this simple thing is what I start my day with. If I don't have this, I feel half naked. Like I feel vulnerable in the market because I don't know what the extreme large player is doing. I can look at a higher time frame, but I don't know what the large players around the world are doing, what the banks are doing, what the I'm just messing around. I'm saying what the Illuminati is doing, what all these larger players are doing. I need to know that information. Yeah. All right. Good. So let's take a look at on this one in pounds Swiss francs. So we were saying if this thing is coming in for a hot sell at support equals resistance, even though the world might be looking at this as, come on, man, didn't you read the books? What was that book called? Dummy for Forex or Forex for Dummies. And according to that, if you get a pullback into a support and resistance, you hit the sell and you're sitting there like, yes, but I went to a webinar with a brown guy and that brown guy said, wait a minute, if your correlation doesn't agree, you're going to have trouble. So let's take a look at this instance on the 60 minutes on how you can come into trouble in this and how you can actually benefit from it instead of going into a loss from it. Okay? Because take a look at this. If you look at this on the 60-minute charts, anyone who does a sell from up here, where do you think their stop losses are? Okay, the traditional stop loss is 20 pips, 30 pips, or you put your stop loss above your recent high. Okay, this is the three generic stuff. You pick a fixed number or you put it above your recent high. Okay, and nothing else matters. That's a stop loss. Okay, so that's one thing, right? But on the other hand is when you see the sell coming in, you can easily now stand by and be like, I'm not going to sell it. I know the sellers are coming in hot. Let me see it slow down. So here comes your rubber band man again. He's running. He's coming down. We don't know if it's turning into a downtrend yet. He's running. He rests. He runs again. Makes a lower low. He rests a little bit. He runs again. Barely makes a lower low and completely turns around. Okay, let's bring it out. His first run. His next run. And his last run, which couldn't even make a lower low properly. All of these things combined telling you the sells are dying. You are approaching an area that you can do the buy because as the sells come, no one is going to sell from the top here because there was a lot of green candles. No one's going to sell from the top. But as the sells come lower, excuse me, more people will sell. And as it tries to break this range, more people will sell. And as more people will sell, you are able to buy large quantities because there's so many sellers willing to sell to you. You can buy it at a discounted price and take the price up, going with correlation and saying you're going to be okay. The audio, not the audio. I was saying the big boy says you're going to be okay. I was going to say the big boy says the audio is okay also, but you're going to be okay. Okay? This helps you to understand, is there support behind you? Is there wind behind your back? Okay? All right? It's like buying a laptop and saying, I'm not sure if I bought a good laptop, and then you have someone like Bill Gates saying, don't worry, I got you. Yeah, when you have someone like that behind you saying, don't worry, I got you, you feel a little bit more confident. Okay, so that's very important in trading. You want to know where the larger players are at all times, as much as you can. You want to know. You want to know all that stuff. Okay, so let's take a look at another example. Let's go into other examples. Okay, so let's say you are looking at this in terms of pound Swiss franc, the one that was probably causing issues. So let's take a look at that. And I want you to tell me what you notice from this, because Swiss franc is strong, which means the chart needs to go this way, down, down, down. And pound is strong, which means the chart needs to go that way. Okay, so if anyone is looking to do any kind of rubber band man on this, which is just basically momentum trading, you're trying to fade the market, you're saying, okay, you know what? If I'm a buyer, give me a nice pullback and I will buy it. Or if I'm a seller, give me a nice pullback and I will sell it. Whichever way. Let me take you down one more time frame and I'll show you a dissection of what this looks like. Okay, I'm going to go down to the 15 and I'm going to show you this thing. Do you see these wonderful, interesting pokes that you have? Have you ever wondered why when you get into a trade, you might get a big whipsaw stop out and then the trade works in your favor for a little bit, or it turns around completely and then you get a big whipsaw on the other hand because you're like, it's a buy because a big tail happened and then the market drops. Oh, maybe it's a sell, I'm not sure. And then a big green candle comes out saying, it is a buy, I knew it. You buy it again and then it whipsaws and comes down again. This is what happens when you're in a pair that's conflicting. When it's conflicting, you get stuck inside whipsaws. Even newses will whipsaw around this. Fundamental news will jump around this area because the market is confused on which way to go. They're not able to find a price to agree on. Okay, so they're constantly battling. Yeah, that's the correct word. Bradford is saying, walk away. That's the moment you walk away and saying, I have a lot of pairs to choose from. At least I know what pairs not to work with. Okay, that limits a lot of potential losses out there, right? So this helps with your reasoning and in helping to reduce the number of losses that you take and increase the winners that you take. Because when you're in a trade, wouldn't you like it to flow nicely? For example, like this, if you look at this on the 60, okay, if you were trading this pound New Zealand for the longest time, you would be chilling this whole time. You're like, yes, all these buys are so smooth. Okay, they're so smooth. Look at these pullbacks. Very shallow pullbacks. Okay, correlation is very, very important. It's very important. Okay, almost think of it like this, right? Everyone talks about, you can only be good into Forex as much as you put in chart time. The thing is, correlation doesn't show up on your chart. It's not on your screen that you're looking at. So if you're trying to trade Euro USD today, you're not gonna be able to see it on Euro USD. You're gonna have to do research and go behind the scenes to figure out what is all the euros doing, what are all the US dollars doing, and then you have an idea. Does that make sense? Okay. So that will give you a decent idea of what is trying to happen into the market. So now let's take a look at this again on this thing here. Okay, I'm going to explain to you what the percentages mean so you have a clear understanding as well. Here we go. Okay, so take a look at pound, right? Pound right here, the third one. You can see how pound is very strong. It's on the top of the food chain, if you want to call it. Okay, versus Aussie, it's on the bottom of the food chain. But you can clearly see if you're looking at just Aussie, and you can say, what if I'm trading Aussie? Which one is on the top of the food chain of Aussie? Oh, it's pound. Which is the closest one right next to it? Oh, it's New Zealand. Oh man, maybe I shouldn't trade that one. Or New Zealand CAD or New Zealand Aussie. Maybe I should stay away from those. Okay? So this will help you very quickly to be like, anything close to this black line is a pair you don't want to be trading. Okay, you want to be using the ones that are further away from that black line. Okay, so for example, the first one, You want to do Swiss franc, Aussie Swiss franc. You want to do New Zealand Swiss franc. You want to do CAD Swiss franc, and that's about it. You don't want to push your luck with that. Okay, you want to do these ones that are really, really close to you. This will help you. Now, for those of you who are larger players, right? Larger players, which means you guys are not interested in trading. You are investing and you want to see on your daily movements and stuff like that. We've got you covered as well. If you click on any one of those, for example, pound, if you click on it, it will give you the changes that are happening in the market. How much has the market changed in response to other currencies? And you will see the percentage change in that as well. This can be very, very useful as well in understanding where the flow of money is. Okay, for your larger players that you like percentages, because the percentages are based on when the markets close in Asia. Okay, and they will re-update on that. So, all right. So there is two time settings. There's the 4 hours and the daily. Okay, let's go into some of the questions as we have 15 minutes here. So some of the things that I saw while we were doing this, some of you guys asked if this was free. I think this is under $6. Let me turn on my mic here, my camera. There we go. It's under $6 a month. I think that's what, like 20 cents a day or less than that even. So it's quite cheap to pick up. Again, this is something I personally use. It's very, very powerful for me. I start my day with looking at this, and then when I do my analysis, my brain is already thinking about this in the background, and I am prepared a little bit better. Okay, so it really, really makes a big difference. All right. So some of these questions, let's go through these questions. What do we have? I think there was one question, I just missed it. Okay, let's take a look at the next question, please. What do we have? Abhishek Bharadwaj is saying, on basis of strength meter, how can we select the right pair to trade? Again, you want to choose the one that is, the black line that you have. You want to be using the ones that are a little bit away from that black line. If the black line says Aussie, use that a little bit further away from that. Okay, the one that is super close to it is the one that you want to be careful from. Okay, so it's a little hack that we've already made for you. You don't even need to look at the numbers. Just look at that chart and you have a really clear understanding. Shekhar Yaman, Navin, for instance, strongest currency is closer to support resistance is almost all correlated currencies. Do you suggest which ones have passed? Which ones has passed? We have to focus on it. Again, for instance, okay, I missed that one. I think you were saying a lot of the currency, the ones that are correlating, they reach support and resistance, and when they react from it. The best ways, okay, I'm going to explain something that might be a little complex, and I hope you guys can really take that knowledge in. The best ones are when you have correlation, and if correlation reaches the support and resistance the wrong way, and as it starts to move a little bit the wrong way, you wait. You wait until the rubber band man dies, because this is what we now call the money spot. The money spot means one side is selling and one side is preparing for buys. That is the most ideal place to enter any trade. Okay, that's when it becomes very powerful. So next question is Benjamin saying, what is the time that currency meter updates every day? Every day this thing updates before London session. So approximately an hour or 45 minutes before, 30 minutes before Frankfurt, you should have these numbers. Okay, approximately around that time. So you even have these numbers for Frankfurt Open. Okay, Vulva, if I'm in the 4 hour daily, if I'm a 4 hour daily trader, do I look at correlation on daily time frame? 4 hours, daily. Daily is a very large thing because the market, the day closes US New York time and it comes back again, and it starts from Asia Open all the way until New York close again. So you want to focus on the daily. That's where the larger players sit, and that's whenever any news or anything comes out, each session decides what they're going to do about it, and then the next day restarts and they're going to decide to continue or not. Okay. The next question is from Kati Ravan. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. I apologize. So for stocks, do we need to correlate with indices? Yes. So in stocks, you have the same thing. You have certain sectors you can focus on, energy sectors. You have technology sectors. You can use indexes as well. So you want to use that as well. A lot of the technology sectors also, they will all be correlated. So you want to focus on if one company is certainly moving, is that affecting the market? Or if the whole market is affected and you're in a position, you can have a better idea of what to do with that position. So that can really help your trade out if you're already in a trade as well. Ali, would correlation apply to supply and demand trading as well? Absolutely, absolutely. Because supply and demand is the markets are going to a certain area, to boxes basically, right? They're going to these little areas of high offset supply and offset demand areas where the markets are imbalanced, and they want to pop from there. But the larger player, just to know their information of what the larger player is actually looking into, can actually increase the probability of your supply and demand as well if you take it from a very strategic location. It can be very powerful. The next question is from Daniel Gomez. But to master ranges, you take too strong or too weak? No, you don't have to, because you can get ranges in an uptrend, and the pullback can be the pullback is so strong. I'm trying to explain this in the easiest way. You have an uptrend that's so strong that the pullback can't even come in making lower lows like it normally does. It pulls back sideways. That's a range that you want to master, because it's going to continue. Okay, you don't want to master a range that has no purpose, no direction, because that one can whipsaw and give you tails on the outside and below as well. So that's like a stop loss coming your way. You got to be careful. Okay, the next question is from Stefano. Example, Aussie is +7, Japanese yen is +1. That's okay. Aussie is +7, Swiss franc is -1. Is it advisable to take 2 buy trades on 2 sister correlated pairs? Okay, that's a money management question. You can take both of those trades, but you should not basically take 2 trades if they're both related to Aussie, and Aussie is strong as is anyways. So if you're taking 2 trades on the same pair, you're just doubling your risk. Find one that you like, increase your odds in that one, and go with that one instead of going 2 of them that are going the same direction anyways. Okay. The next question is from Simeon. Is saying, Navin, do you recommend correlation trading like the old days? Buy, sell the whole basket of the chosen currency? No, don't do that, because in the olden days, for example, the days when we had pro trading strategy, euro and yen and the dollar, they were always in one way or the other correlated in a simple direction. The correlation now is offset. It's always flipping up and down. So you can't just say, I'm going to buy all the euros now. I'm going to buy all the Japanese yens now. You got to be careful now. There are a lot more whipsawing now in the markets. So you want to be careful of that. The next question is from Toluquazi. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Toluquazi. Is the app available for everyone or Urban Forex students? Everybody. It is on the iTunes store. Unfortunately, I don't own the iTunes store, so it's available for everybody. Okay. All right. I think, yeah, there we go. And the final thing is it okay to trade before London session? Yes, you can trade before London session. I personally trade it sometimes. I trade Frankfurt open, which is 1 hour before London, but you have to be careful because the opening hours, the markets are a little bit more active. Okay, so you want to be careful on not to buy and hold or sell and hold at the opening hours. The opening hours, the market needs to find its footing, and all the buying and selling needs to begin before it becomes off balance and picks a direction. So try not to do trend trades at the opening hours. Be careful. All right, guys, that is all the time we have here for today. We have gone through a lot of questions. We'll take one more question. Greg, what currency strength to use if I'm trading on the 1 hour? Use daily. Okay, I trade the 1 hour. I use daily. Use daily as well. All right, and final questions, the apps for Androids, it will be released soon in the very near future. We will send out an email immediately for everybody else on that. Okay, for those of you who do not have the Mastering Price Action course, just email us info@urbanforex.com and we will be able to assist you. Again, if you're looking for the app on the App Store, it is called FX Meter. Okay, if you just go to iTunes and you click search, and then in the search bar, you just type in FX Meter, like Forex Meter, FX Meter. You will see the logo that will look just like this that I'm showing you on your screen right now. That you see on your screen right now. And then you can just download it, basically. And that's that. Okay. All right, guys. It's been a pleasure. It is always wonderful to have you guys here. Thank you so much for coming. You guys always make time to be here. I want to make sure every time that you're here, we provide you some value and some insights that you can actually use immediately in your trading. I hope it was a good journey today and you really make progress using correlations with everything else that you've learned in all the other webinars. Thank you guys. Until next time. Cheers, guys. Bye for now. So there you have it. I hope this webinar was extremely useful for you and you can use correlation into your trading on a day-to-day basis. And don't forget, you can still pick up the app from the iTunes App Store if you search FX Meter. I look forward to seeing you in my next webinar. Cheers.